The stars outside the window of the Sol runner shimmered like cold diamonds. Captain Alara Miles sat quietly in the pilot's seat, her fingers lightly resting on the controls. She was alone, traveling through the outer edges of the Andromeda fringe, far from any human colony, far from any known trade route. This part of space was quiet, and that was exactly why she liked it. Her mission was simple: scan unknown space, map new asteroid belts, and report back to the Terran Exploration Corps. But deep inside, Alara enjoyed the silence more than the mission. The stars didn't argue. They didn't lie. They just existed. Suddenly, the silence was broken. A soft beeping sound echoed through the cockpit. Alara sat up, her eyes narrowing. A signal. Weak. Old. Not human. She tapped a few buttons and brought up the data stream. It was a repeating distress call, encrypted, distorted, and barely understandable. The language wasn't familiar, but the tone was unmistakable. Someone, or something, was asking for help. Computer, origin of signal? Alara asked. The ship's AI responded in its calm voice. Source located. Approximate distance, 4.2 light minutes. Signal embedded in Zirathi military code, classification unknown. Alara raised an eyebrow. Zirathi. That name was rare in human reports. The Zirathi Dominion was a mysterious alien empire known for avoiding human contact. No one had ever spoken with them directly. Some said they were ancient and wise. Others believed they were dangerous and proud. But one thing was sure: they never asked humans for help, until now. Without hesitation, Alara adjusted her course. Her ship turned smoothly and jumped to sublight speed. 4 minutes later, the object came into view, a massive damaged vessel, floating aimlessly in space. Its hull was cracked, blackened from fire. Parts of it sparked with blue light. Plasma. Storms rolled slowly around it like mist. Alara stared at the ship through her window. That thing's been through a war, she whispered. As she brought her ship closer, the scanners showed no signs of active weapons, no life forms, but the distress signal was still going. Alara suited up. She grabbed her toolkit and a translator device, then opened the airlock. The two ships connected and a narrow walkway extended between them. As she stepped into the alien vessel, her boots echoed in the empty hallways. The air was thin, lights flickering. Symbols on the walls glowed in green and purple, completely unreadable. "Hello?" she called. No answer. She moved deeper into the ship, past broken panels and shattered glass. Then, near the command deck, she found him. A figure lay slumped against a wall, wearing dark armor that shimmered slightly in the dim light. His skin was a pale silver, with faint lines that pulsed gently. His chest rose and fell, weak but alive. One of his arms was wrapped in a torn cloth, and his breathing was uneven. Alara knelt beside him. Slowly, carefully, she held up the translator. "Can you hear me?" His eyes opened slightly. They were sharp, golden, and full of pain, but also awareness. He looked at her. A long pause passed. "Human," he whispered. "Yes," she said softly. "I'm here to help." He tried to move, but winced in pain. Alara stopped him. "Don't move, you're badly hurt." He looked at her again, longer this time. His voice came out cracked, like someone who hadn't spoken in days. "Will you help me?" She nodded. "Yes, but I need to get you stable first." Carefully, she opened her kit and began scanning his wounds. Some were deep, others were strange. Clearly not human biology. But the basics were the same. Blood loss, shock, physical trauma. She attached a healing patch from her med kit to his shoulder and started a slow drip of nutrients through a small tube. The alien closed his eyes, breathing easier. After a while, he opened them again. "Stay with me," he said quietly. "Please." Alara was surprised. She didn't expect that. Not from a Zirathi. "I'm not going anywhere," she said gently. "You're safe now." The ship groaned. Around them, metal creaking under pressure. She looked up. The systems were still unstable. Life support might fail at any moment. I need to fix this place up a little, she said. You'll be okay. Just rest. As she stood and walked toward the control panels, she heard him speak again, softer this time. You came. A human answered. Ilara paused for a moment, then smiled without turning around. Sometimes we surprise people. Captain Ilara Miles worked quickly, her hands moving across the damaged alien control panel. Sparks jumped out as she opened a panel. The ship's power systems were old and badly burned. Some controls didn't respond at all. Others gave strange readings in a language she couldn't read. She looked over her shoulder. The alien, Commander Veshtal, was still lying against the wall where she had left him. His eyes were closed, but his chest slowly moved up and down. He was alive, at least for now. Ilara sighed. This isn't going to be easy. She went back to her ship for supplies, extra batteries, repair bots, and her portable translator, screen. After sealing the walkway between the ships again, she returned to the alien vessel and set up a small workspace near the control deck. After a while, she heard a soft voice. You returned. Ilara turned to see Veshital watching her. I said I'd stay, she answered. He studied her, blinking slowly. His eyes were sharp, golden, and intelligent. Most would not. Well, I'm not most people, she said, smiling a little. He tried to sit up, wincing in pain. Ilara rushed over and helped him gently into a better position. Careful, she said, you're still weak. Veshtal nodded slowly. You are a Terran? Close. I'm from Earth, yes. Human. He seemed to taste the word. Human. He paused. Your kind is different. Ilara gave a short laugh. I've heard that before. He looked at the strange devices she had brought. You are repairing my ship? I'm trying, she said. Your systems are very advanced and very damaged, but I think I can stabilize life support and get basic power running. Veshital was silent for a moment. Then he said, You do not ask why I am here. Ilara looked at him. I figured you'd tell me when you're ready. His gaze softened. Your kind has a curious mind, but you are patient. She didn't reply. Instead, she walked back to the control panel and tapped a few buttons. A soft hum passed through the floor. The lights grew a little brighter. The air felt warmer. Veshtal's eyes widened slightly. You succeeded. Ilara smiled. Just a little patchwork. Your systems are still fragile. He gave a quiet nod, then asked, Why are you out here, human? Exploration mission, Ilara replied. Mapping new systems, gathering data, avoiding traffic. You travel alone? She shrugged. Some people think it's lonely. I think it's peaceful. Veshital looked thoughtful. My people fear your kind. I know, Ilara said. We've heard rumors. No formal contact, just silence. He sighed. They believe your race grows too fast, spreads too far, changes too much. And you? She asked, curious. Veshital looked at her carefully. Then, after a pause, he said, I believed what they told me, until today. Ilara sat down on a small crate across from him. So, why did you call for help? Veshital looked down. His hands, long with pale fingers, rested in his lap. I had no choice, he said. The others are gone. The council betrayed us. My fleet was destroyed. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine. You were attacked by your own people? He nodded slowly. We discovered a truth they did not want known. They silenced us. I escaped. Barely. What kind of truth? She asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, something that could change everything. But that is not for today. Ilara didn't push further. Instead, she said, You trusted me enough to send that signal. That means something. He met her eyes. I sent it. Because humans never give up. Even when they are afraid. Ilara chuckled. That's one way to describe us. Veshtal leaned back against the wall, closing his eyes for a moment. Your help is unexpected, but not unwelcome. She nodded. Good, because I'm not leaving until you're safe. The ship hummed again as her repairs stabilized the energy core. For now, the vessel would hold. A quiet moment passed between them, not full of answers, but full of something else. Trust. Or the beginning of it. Tell me your name, Veshtal said. Ilara, she replied. Captain Ilara Miles. He nodded. Veshtal, commander of the Zirathi Dominion, or what remains of it. Well, Commander, Ilara said, standing up. Let's see what else I can fix around here. As she returned to the console, Veshtal watched her with calm, steady eyes. For the first time in many days, he felt something new, something he thought he had lost. Hope. The alien ship was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Ilara Miles walked carefully through the long, dark hallway. The lights above flickered, casting strange shadows on the walls. Her boots made soft taps on the metal floor. In her hands, she held a small scanner, watching it screen for signs of power leaks or broken circuits. Behind her, back in the control room, Commander Veshtal rested, still recovering. The ship's systems were now stable, but only just. Ilara wanted to fix more of the power grid. The deeper she went into the ship, the stranger it felt. Suddenly, the scanner beeped. Ilara stopped. A strange reading blinked on the screen. Movement. But only for a second. Then it was gone. She looked around. The hallway was empty. Silent. Probably just a glitch, she whispered, but her voice didn't sound confident. She continued forward, following the cables that ran along the walls. A door ahead was half open. Sparks flickered at its edge. As she stepped closer, the ship let out a soft groan like it was breathing. She slid through the door and entered what looked like an old storage bay. Broken crates were scattered across the floor. Some had strange symbols on them. A few had been torn open. Something had moved through here, and not too long ago. Her scanner beeped again. Movement. Close. She turned quickly, but nothing was there. Then she heard it. A soft, metallic sound, like claws on steel. Ilara's heart beat faster. She raised her light and looked around. Who's there? She called. No answer. But from the shadows above, something dropped. She rolled to the side just in time. A flash of metal zipped past her, crashing into the ground. It was a drone, Zirathi tech, shaped like a spider with sharp legs and glowing eyes. It turned toward her, its body clicking as it charged. Ilara didn't wait. She jumped behind a crate as the drone fired a small pulse. Blast, just missing her shoulder. She grabbed her EMP tool from her belt, aimed and fired. The blue charge hit the drone, sending sparks flying. It froze, legs twitching, then collapsed. Ilara stood slowly, breathing hard. Okay, that wasn't friendly. She approached the drone carefully. Its body was still warm, old but active. She realized something important. The ship's security systems had not been fully shut down. Some were still active and dangerous. Quickly, she tapped her comms. Veshtal, do you read me? A pause. Then his voice weak but steady. Yes, human. I just found one of your defense drones. It attacked me. A short silence. Then, I feared that might happen. Some systems run on old codes. If the core reboots, they can wake. You could have warned me. I did not know they were still active, Veshtal said. Most should have shut down. But this ship has many secrets. Ilara sighed. Well, if one's awake, there might be more. Be careful, he said. If they see you as a threat, they will not stop. Ilara looked around. Any way to shut them down remotely? Yes, he replied. From the command center, I will try. She nodded. I'll make my way back. But as she turned toward the hallway, 2 more red lights blinked in the shadows. Drones. This time, they came fast. Alara ran, dodging blast fire, her boots slamming against the floor. She ducked into a side hall and rolled behind a steel pillar. The drones followed, crawling on walls and ceiling. Alara took a deep breath, then tossed a flash grenade from her kit. The small device burst with light and static. The drones twitched, confused. She used the moment to fire her EMP again. 1 drone dropped, disabled. The second turned toward her, its eyes glowing brighter. Suddenly, it stopped. A strange sound echoed. Through the hallway, a command spoken in the Zirathi language. The drone paused, then powered down. Alara looked up in surprise. Veshital? I reached the control link, he replied. You are safe. For now. She exhaled in relief. Thanks. That was close. Return when ready, Veshital said. We have much to talk about. Alara nodded, even though he couldn't see her. As she walked back through the now quiet halls, she glanced at the broken drones around her. They weren't just machines. They were memories, remnants of a crew that was gone. Systems left behind still doing their jobs, even after everyone else had left. When she returned to the command deck, Veshital looked at her, eyes full of quiet concern. You fought well, he said. I had to, Alara replied. Your ship is full of ghosts. He nodded slowly. Yes, and you walk among them without fear. She sat down beside him. I'm not fearless, just stubborn. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Veshital said, Your kind surprises me again. Alara gave him a tired smile. We do, that a lot. The lights on the alien ship were steady now. The air had warmed. Power flowed through the main corridors again. For the first time since she boarded, Captain Alara Miles felt like the ship was more alive and less like a tomb. She sat across from Commander Veshital in the command deck. He looked better now. The healing patches had done their job. His skin was no longer pale and his golden eyes were sharper, clearer. Thank you, he said quietly, for saving my life. And my ship. Alara gave him a small smile. We're not out of danger yet, but it's a start. Veshital nodded. Still, no one else would have helped, especially not a human. Alara leaned back in the chair and crossed her arms. You said your people betrayed you? Why? He looked away for a moment, then said, Because I asked questions. About what? Veshital stood slowly and walked to a small panel near the wall. He placed his hand on it. The screen lit up, showing a star map. Thousands of systems, most marked in symbols Alara didn't understand. He pointed at one section of the map. Here. This region was forbidden. No one was allowed to enter it. For centuries. Alara leaned forward. Why? Stories. Warnings. My people said something. Terrible once happened there, a great silence, entire fleets vanished. That didn't stop you, did it? No, he said. I led an expedition. I took 3 ships. We found something ancient. Alara's eyes narrowed. What did you find? A machine, he said, his voice lower. Not made by my people or yours. It was sleeping. But even in sleep it was powerful. It spoke in energy, not words. And when we woke it, it showed us everything. Everything? Veshital nodded. The truth. Our history was incomplete. The Zirathi did not rise on their own. We were helped by this machine's creators, beings from long before. They shaped the galaxy and then disappeared. Alara frowned. And your leaders didn't want others to know? They were afraid, he said. If others learned that we were not as powerful or ancient as we claimed, the balance would break. So they destroyed the evidence and those who found it. That includes you. Veshital looked at her, pain in his eyes. Yes, my fleet was attacked, my own people. Only I escaped. Alara stood and walked closer to the screen. Why share this with me? Because you saved me, he said, and because you're kind. Is new, but bold. You do not fear the truth. You seek it. She stared at the map. Do you still have the coordinates? Veshetal nodded. They are here. He tapped the screen. A set of coordinates blinked into view. Ilara smiled slightly. I want to see it. He raised an eyebrow, even knowing the danger. Especially because of the danger, she replied. If there's something out there bigger than both our species, we should know. Veshetal was silent for a moment. Then he said, You remind me of someone I once knew. A pilot. Brave, curious. She died protecting what she believed in. Ilara looked at him. I'm not planning to die. He gave a soft smile. Neither did she. She turned away from the map and went back to her toolkit. We'll need supplies. If we're going to go that far, we can't rely on this half-broken ship. I can help restore it, Veshetal said, now that I'm stronger. Good, Ilara replied, because I think the universe just got a lot bigger. Suddenly, a light flashed on the console. Ilara moved over and checked it. We've got a ship approaching, she said, surprised. Small, fast. Veshetal looked tense. Show me. Ilara pulled up the display. A sleek black ship appeared on the screen. It had no lights, no markings, but it was heading directly toward them. That's not a human ship, she said. No, Veshetal whispered. It's one of theirs, the enforcers. Your people? Yes, the ones sent to erase mistakes. Ilara's hand moved to the emergency controls. They're not here to talk, are they? No, he said, standing tall now. They're here to finish the job. Ilara locked eyes with him. Then we have to be ready. Veshetal's face was calm but serious. If they board, they will show no mercy. Neither will I, Ilara replied. The alien and the human stood side by side in the center of a broken ship floating in deep space. Outside, the enemy drew closer. But inside, something stronger was forming. A bond, an unlikely alliance. And it was only the beginning. Red lights blinked on the control deck. The alien ship shook slightly as the dark vessel came closer. Ilara gripped the edge of the console while scanning the screen. The enforcer ship was large for a single captain vessel, but fast, too fast for a cargo or scout class. They'll reach us in 2 minutes, she said quickly. Veshetal stood beside her, his golden eyes locked on the display. They won't send warnings. They will fire without a word. Ilara turned toward him. Can your weapons still work? Some, he answered, but not enough to fight them alone. She narrowed her eyes. Then we don't fight. We delay. Veshetal looked puzzled. Delay for what? She tapped on her wrist screen. I'm calling my ship. It's docked with yours. I set a remote defense trigger. If anyone approaches, it'll launch a false signal. False signal? A distress beacon from a Terran warship, she said with a small grin. If they think reinforcements are coming, they may back off. Or at least, pause long enough for us to escape. Veshetal raised an eyebrow. You humans are very creative. We call it clever, Ilara said, activating the decoy beacon. Outside, the enemy ship slowed. On the radar screen, Ilara watched as its course changed just slightly. They heard it, she whispered. Will they believe it? Veshetal asked. We're about to find out. The alien vessel hovered outside for a long minute. Then, a signal came through, crackly and sharp. The voice spoke in the Zirathi tongue. They want me to come out, Veshetal said. Alone. You're not going, Ilara said firmly. I must. If I don't, they'll destroy us. She shook her head. No, they'll destroy you anyway. You said it yourself. No mercy. Veshetal looked at her. Then what do we do? She thought quickly. We have one more option. Talk to them, stall them. Make them question what they know. He tilted his head. Talk to enforcers? You told me your people feared truth, Ilara said. Maybe one of them still remembers how to listen. Veshital hesitated, then slowly walked to the comms panel. He opened the channel and began to speak in his language. His voice was strong, calm, filled with authority. Alara didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone. Veshital was challenging them, not with weapons, but with truth. The reply came fast, sharp, angry. "They call me a traitor," Veshital said quietly. "They say I speak lies." "Then keep speaking," Alara said. "If they're afraid of lies, maybe they're afraid of the truth too." The second voice returned, this time louder, harsher. "They're powering weapons," Veshital said. "They're done talking." Alara looked at the radar. "Too close for a clean jump, we need time." She suddenly turned to Veshital. "How big is your energy core?" He blinked. "What?" "Can it create an energy burst? Enough to blind. There's sensors for a few seconds?" He hesitated. "Yes, but it could damage the ship." "Do it, I'll handle the escape." Veshital stared at her. "You would risk both ships?" "To save your life," she said, smiling. "Yes, and mine too, of course." He gave a rare laugh. "You are full of surprises, human." Moments later, Veshital moved to the engine controls. Alara ran to the docking tube and climbed into her own ship, sealing the hatch behind her. She jumped into the pilot seat and powered it up. "Ready," she said into her comm. "Firing the burst now," Veshital answered. A blinding wave of energy shot from the alien ship. The enemy vessel's sensors scrambled. Its lights flickered. For 3 seconds, it was blind. Alara launched her ship instantly, pulling away from the alien vessel and into open space. The docking tube detached and spun into the void. "Now!" she shouted. Veshital sent a jump signal to her ship and she activated the engine. Both ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind only a pulse of confused data and a very surprised enforcer vessel. On the other side of space, far from danger, the two ships slowed. Alara looked at her screen. "We made it." Veshital's voice came through the channel. "Barely, but yes." Alara leaned back in her seat. "You okay?" "I am," he said. "Thanks to you." She smiled. "You're welcome. Again." There was a long pause before Veshital spoke again. "You risked everything. For me. You would have done the same," she said. He didn't answer that. Instead, he said, "You asked if I trusted you before. Now I do." Alara looked at the star map ahead. "Good. Because we're not done yet." Veshital's voice was calm. "No. We are just beginning." As their ships moved together through the stars, their bond grew stronger. Human and alien, two enemies turned allies, now racing toward a truth the galaxy had tried to bury. But some secrets do not stay hidden forever. The journey through deep space took almost a full cycle. Alara's ship flew beside Veshital's repaired vessel, staying close like two birds soaring across a dark sky. Their destination was marked only by a strange signal, a soft, pulsing beacon that had been repeating the same rhythm for centuries. The planet ahead looked like a giant gray stone floating in space. No lights, no cities, no signs of life. It was silent. Still. But Veshital knew better. "This is it," he said, his voice low. "This is where we found the machine." Alara stared at the planet through her window. "It doesn't look special." "It's not what's on the surface that matters," he replied. "It's what sleeps beneath." They landed carefully on a wide, flat plain filled with broken stones and old marks, like something heavy had once crashed or moved across it. As Alara stepped out onto the dusty ground, she felt a strange hum under her boots. Not sound, not vibration, just a presence. Veshital joined her. He moved slowly with deep respect, like one walking through a sacred place. "Here," he said, pointing to a large rock formation. "There's a door." Alara helped him clear away dust and stones until a dark metal panel appeared. It was smooth and cold, unlike anything she'd seen before. "No symbols?" she asked. Not in any language we know, Veshetal replied. He placed his hand on the panel. It didn't react. Last time, he said softly. It opened when we all touched it. 3 minds together. Ilara looked at him. We're only 2. Veshetal nodded. But you are human. That might be enough. She stepped forward and placed her hand next to his. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ground shook gently. A soft blue light ran across the panel. Slowly, a door slid open with a quiet hiss. A long staircase led down into the dark. Ready? Ilara asked. Veshetal looked at her. Always. Together, they moved into the unknown. The tunnel was quiet and cold. Blue lights lined the walls, turning on as they walked. Strange shapes glowed gently. Circles, triangles, lines that moved like they were alive. This technology, Ilara whispered. It's older than anything we've ever found. Veshetal nodded. It built our ancestors and maybe yours too. At the end of the tunnel, they entered a wide chamber. It was massive, high ceiling, smooth floor, and in the center, a giant black sphere floated above the ground. The machine. It hummed softly, almost like it was breathing. It's still alive, Ilara said. Veshetal took a careful step forward. Last time we activated it, it showed us memories, visions of the past. Ilara walked with him. Let's see what it shows us now. As they stepped closer, the sphere glowed brighter. A beam of light reached out and touched their foreheads gently. Ilara's eyes widened. She wasn't afraid, only amazed. Suddenly, the room faded away. She stood in a different place, a world full of stars and light. She saw strange beings, not human, not Zirathi, but something greater. They moved like light, spoke without sound, and built wonders with a thought. She saw them shaping galaxies, planting seeds of life. Earth, Zyrath, dozens of others. They weren't gods. They were caretakers. Then, darkness, a war, another force, cold and hungry, trying to consume all the light. The ancient beings fought back but were weakened. So they built machines, watchers, guardians, to hold the knowledge for the next species to find. Ilara saw herself. Veshetal, standing together. 2 species who once fought, now united. Then the vision ended. She gasped and stepped back, heart racing. Veshetal was breathing hard too. Did you see it? Yes, she whispered. Everything. The machine pulsed again, and a calm voice echoed in the chamber. It spoke in a soft, clear tone, somehow understandable without language. 2 minds, 1 hope. The path is open. A panel opened beside the machine. Inside was a cube, simple, glowing softly. This is a key, Veshetal said. To more machines, more knowledge. Ilara picked it up carefully. If this falls into the wrong hands, he nodded. Then many worlds could suffer. She looked at him. What do we do with it? We guard it, he replied, and we choose who learns the truth. They stood in silence, both aware of the weight of what they had found. It wasn't just ancient tech. It was the start of something greater, something that could change the future. As they walked back up the tunnel, the door closed behind them, hiding the machine once again. The sky above was clear, but both of them knew. The silence wouldn't last. Far away, someone else had noticed the pulse of the machine, and they were coming. The sky above the silent planet had changed. Ilara stood outside her ship, watching distant stars blink unnaturally. Something was moving, too fast and too smooth. Not a natural object, not a meteor. It was a ship. They're here, she said quietly. Veshetal stepped beside her. The enforcers. They must have tracked our jump signal. Ilara frowned. They're not giving up. He looked at her with a calm face. Neither are we. They had the cube now. a key to the machines left behind by ancient beings, keepers of knowledge, builders of worlds. That knowledge could change everything, but in the wrong hands it could destroy entire civilizations. Alara turned to him. If they get the cube, they won't, he said firmly. We'll stop them. The dark ship entered the atmosphere. It moved like a shadow, smooth and silent. It landed far from the ruins, but close enough to reach them quickly. Alara checked her wrist screen. One vessel, but large, could hold 10, maybe more. Enforcers do not bring soldiers, Veshtal replied. They bring executioners. Despite his words, he stood tall. He was ready. They made a plan quickly. Alara would hide the cube inside a shielded compartment on her ship. Veshtal would lead the enforcers away from the ruins, using old command codes to draw their attention. She didn't like the idea of splitting up, but there was no time to argue. Before leaving, Alara handed him a small silver disc. Emergency. Signal. If you get in trouble, press it. I'll come. He took it silently, then looked at her. Thank you for staying. I said I would, she replied. Veshtal nodded once, then moved out. Alara climbed into her ship and sealed the cube inside the shielded pod. She activated the cloaking system and powered down everything else, making her ship nearly invisible to outside scans. Then, she waited. Hours passed like slow waves. She watched the sky through the small viewing panel. No sign of movement. No signals. No sound. Then, her screen blinked. A signal. Emergency alert. Veshtal activated beacon. Alara jumped into the pilot seat and powered the engines. The cube was hidden. If anything happened to them, she hoped someone good would find it. But she had no plan to leave Veshtal behind. She followed the signal, flying low across the rocky plains. In the distance, she saw smoke rising and lights flashing, blue and white pulses. Laser fire. She landed behind a tall ridge and ran toward the fight below in a wide crater. Veshtal stood surrounded by 4 enforcers. Their armor was dark and sharp, their movements quick and exact. He held a damaged pulse weapon almost out of charge. Alara didn't wait. She pulled out her compact blaster and slid down the ridge. The enforcers turned too late. One fell with a sharp burst of light. Another turned and fired, missing her by inches. Veshtal used the moment to strike. His shot hit a second enemy in the chest, knocking them to the ground. The final enforcer raised their weapon toward Alara, but Veshtal stepped in front and took the blast in the shoulder. He dropped to one knee in pain. Alara fired again. The last enforcer fell. Silence returned. She rushed to Veshtal's side. You okay? He nodded slowly. Painful, but alive. She helped him stand. Let's go, we can't stay here. They returned to her ship. She treated his wound with a medical patch and gave him water. The cube was still hidden, untouched. We need to leave this planet, she said. Others will come. Yes, he agreed. But now we have something worth protecting. As their ships lifted off the surface, the ancient ruins faded behind them, disappearing once more under dust and shadow. Alara set a new course, toward a neutral zone, far from both human and Zyrathi borders. A place where no one would expect them. Veshtal looked out the window. We started as enemies, now we are partners, she smiled. More than that, we're allies, maybe even friends. He looked at her. What comes next? We share the truth, Alara said. But carefully, one step at a time. We show people that cooperation is possible. He nodded. It will be hard. Most good things are. The stars stretched before them like a sea of lights. As their ships flew side by side, Alara looked at the small glowing cube resting safely in the center console, a reminder of what they had found, and a symbol of what they were building. 2 minds, 1 hope, a future, together.